What is going on, YouTube family? Team Gifted. What is good, man? As you can tell right now, my man has been woofing. He's been waiting for this haircut. I've been waiting for this haircut to be recorded for you guys. He's been woofing now for about 2.5 months, I believe. 2 months. Now, I know what y'all are already thinking with the title of this video, Against the Grain on some waves. Like, who does that? Look, if I feel that when my client sits down, that I can go against the grain with a higher guard, which I'm doing right now. This is a number 3 guard. I'm going against the grain, and then what I'll do is I'll brush the hair back down, you know, lay it back down. You'll see the waves. Now, one thing you don't want to do is go against the grain with like a number 1 if the waves aren't that deep. His waves, I can tell off the back that his waves are pretty deep, so doing a number 3 against the grain is not going to hurt it. It's not going to hurt the pattern. So what I did was I did a 3 against the grain, then I'll come back with a number 2 or a 1.5 open, I believe, and go with the grain. Right here, I'm just cutting it against the grain all the way even, making sure it's, you know, cut evenly. And this is just my professional opinion as far as going against the grain with waves. 360 Jeezy may have another opinion on going against the grain, but I've seen him go against the grain before. I've seen Get Beam go against the grain before on waves. Like I said, as long as you're using a longer guard, it shouldn't hurt it too much. But just use your, you know, professionalism when that client sits down in the chair, whether you can go against or not. I felt like I was capable to do that, you know, and I coached my client, educated my client that with me cutting against the grain, your waves are not going to go nowhere. They're too deep in there. And then cutting with the grain with the 1.5 open. So this isn't a 1 guard open. This is a 1.5 guard open. So it's almost equivalent to going with the grain with a number 2. So it's really just going to graze whatever I just cut. Right here, this is some hair tonic. This is gonna clean my client's scalp and also get rid of any kind of debris or any kind of grease that's been setting in his hair. But he came with a shampooed head. But honestly, with the hair tonic, it lays the waves down. I don't know this specific brand. I honestly just use this bottle to refill it because I like the way it sprays. Sorry, the name of the brand that I use for hair tonic is Fresh Heads, but our barber supply doesn't carry them anymore, so I don't know if you can find it on Amazon or not. If I can find a link for Amazon, I will have it in the description below. Fresh Heads. The scent is amazing, and like I said, after a little bit of heat in a brush session, whew, that word is so hard. Try to say that word together very, very fast. Brush session. Anyways, after a brush session, man, after applying that hair tonic, it just does something to the waves, as you can tell, lays them down, adds that nice shine to it. And I've seen some barbers use mousse, but I feel like after you apply the mousse, it spikes the hair up. It kind of makes the hair kind of go upward. It doesn't lay it down. But with me, whenever I use the hair tonic, again, I'm cleaning the client's scalp and the hair and getting rid of, you know, any kind of oils or debris. And also, if you use color enhancement, using hair tonic would also help as well, you know, for the no drip to stick better. But guys, let's go ahead and jump to the taper. This is the trimmer. Then I went to the lever all the way open. I'll put it in the middle and then close it to remove that bottom line, that the half left behind, meaning the lever open. Going up about 1/2 inch per guideline. Being that it's a number 3 against the grain, right? I believe I just used number 2 for my last guard, but that was a 1 guard. I have the 1 guard on right now, lever all the way open. After I create myself the next guideline, I'll start to soften up that bottom line that's behind with closing my lever to the middle position, and then also closing it all the way. And that's just going to soften up that bottom line that the 1.5 left behind. you'll come and finish that up with the half guard or your 1/16 guard, depending on what system you're using. Since I'm using wall, I'm using a half guard.
It's Apollo.
Alright, so now I jump to the 2 guard. Again, lever open. I always start with the lever open just because trial and error. If it doesn't cut, then I can close the lever and it'll, be able to cut. If you start with the lever closed, you may find yourself creating a guideline that you can't get out, cutting too short. So I feel like, you can always take hair off, you can't put it back on. Until we find out how to put hair back on without hair units and color enhancements and all that, we got to go with the lever all the way open. So after the 2 guard, I'm going to take my number 1.5 guard, and that's what I use on top, the 1.5 open to go with the grain. I'll take my 1.5 open to attack whatever the 2 left behind, and that'll blend that panel out. Now, you may see some dark spots, some dark crevices that you can't get into with this guard because of the way it's shaped, or the teeth of the guard isn't, feeding into the hair. You may find yourself using a number 1 guard open, which is equivalent to 1.5, and going against the grain with blending whatever the 1.5 left behind, if that makes any sense. So basically what I'm doing, I'm just stretching the client's skin, making sure I'm using and favoring the corners of that guard to feed that hair in, and then also I'm using a fine-tooth comb to comb the hair back down, keep the same pattern. Right here I just turned the clipper around, and now I'm going with the grain to kind of soften that hair up. Now, like I said, you may find yourself using a 1 guard lever open after the 1.5 to remove some dark spots. Alright, so guys, so now I'm going to jump down to my half guard, lever all the way open to blend that into the 1.
It's Apollo.
And this is going to bring that taper together after using the half. And again, you might find yourself going to the lever all the way open with no guard and removing some dark spots. But other than that, this is basically your system, right? As far as using guards, whenever it comes to corner work and detail work, that's when you just go above and beyond and start detailing your work with using the corners of your blade and removing dark spots. And also, if you have the eye for it, like there's times where in my tutorials where you may think that I'm just, I don't know, doing it for show or whatever, but I'm actually removing dark spots whenever I use the corner of my blades. Just like right now, it doesn't look like I'm really physically cutting anything, but I'm seeing small little areas and touch-up work that I love to do detail work. So using the corners of your blades, man, is definitely a plus. And once you figure that out and you have the eye for it, I feel like it takes your haircut to a whole nother level, on top of using color enhancements.
Houston, we have a problem.
And this is just a close-up footage of me using a half guard and removing those dark areas. And this is whatever the number 1 guard left behind.
Apollo, yeah, that mother too cold.
All right, so now we're gonna start the side of the taper. This is the lever all the way open, and my client wanted to have a little bit of sideburns to a point, just like the last tutorial that I dropped. So again, if my client wants to show a little bit of sideburn, without just having that dark sideburn and then the ball taper, I don't like that look. Some clients do, but I like the taper to blend into the sideburn, so I just use a half lever all the way open, and it's a shadow. It's gonna allow me to put that line in, that nice crispy pointed sideburn. So with using the half lever all the way open, it'll create that shadow look. That way you can see some kind of contrast with the taper into the long hair up top, but also again leave enough hair to do a pointed sideburn. And I don't want to cut too much into the C-cup area or around the vertical bar of the edge up. I want to keep that dark. So it's basically after the lever open, you jump to your 1 guard, then your 2 guard, and then come back down to your 1.5, just like I did the back taper. And then again, detail work, guys. Lever all the way open, using that left side of that blade and just kind of nicking at those dark spots.
Apollo.
And it's gonna be a pretty quick, taper with a half, because there's not really too much, I guess, levels to blend into. So after you do the half, right here, you jump to the 1 open,
Houston, we have a problem.
put it in the middle, close it, and then knowing that it's a 3, right, against the grain, the highest guard I'll use is a 2. And sometimes you don't have to use the number 2 guard, because you can go with the grain with a lower guard. But I just, again, stay safe. This is a system that I developed since I was in barber college, so I stick with it. I always start with a higher guard and work my way down. So right here, after the 2, jump to the 1.5 guard, not the 1 guard, but the 1.5 guard, lever open, put it in the middle, close it. And if that doesn't remove all the dark spots all the way, you have your 1 guard open to blend into the 1.5. And again, keep a comb or a brush on hand, on the opposite hand. That way you can brush any kind of excess hair, and you can put the hair back into its natural state as well when it's for it to lay down. Using my Babyliss FX cordless skeleton trimmers, go right around that ear line with the left side of the blade. We're gonna come down to the point. These things are adjusted, but I can use them on kids and adults. They're not sharp at all. They don't leave no redness behind or nothing. They some hitters though. So right here, I'm just creating that nice sideburn to a point. Look how clean that taper is in the back. It blends right into the hair up top. And that has a nice transition from light, medium to dark. That's what you want to look for as in your fades as well. It's gradiency. You want to have a light, medium to dark. You don't want to just have light to dark, or you know what I mean? Like you want to have some kind of gradients in your blend. It's okay to stack your guards, because that's what blends in. That's what creates a blend. If you have a number 1 and a 2, you merge them together, marry them together, that has a blend. Alright, so I just wanted to show you up close and personal as far as lining him up. I'm gonna go to where I see a dark lineup. It's not a pushback. It's real light hair. I want to use less color enhancement. Now I do use color enhancement, but that's just to enhance the hairline, because it is kind of light in this area. But I don't want to go too far. Some barbers push the lineup back just because it's gonna look clean that day. No, I want my clients to have a nice edge up, and natural. And if I could, enhance it with the color instead of quote unquote fix it, then that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep the lineup pretty natural, and whatever you see me removing from the lineup is basically excess hair. It's bangs. It's hanging over. There's really no hair follicles being cut. I'm just lining up the natural hairline. But as you can tell right here, he's pretty light on that vertical bar. So I don't want to go too far. but I also want to just create a ghost line, that way I could fill it in with the color enhancement. And a lot of clients will respect you for that. And right here I have the hair pencil, and I'm just outlining whatever I put in with the trimmer. And this is just gonna add that nice contrast and to the lineup. After I hit it back with the trimmer, I'll come back and use the razor. And that's what also you see on Instagram, is those white ash lines or that white gradiency in the lineup. This is what they're using. They're using a barber pencil. If I find a link on Amazon for it, I'll leave it in the description below. But you see Get Beam use it a lot. So, and it does something to the edge. It makes it pop. Sorry for the sniffles, guys. I got crazy allergies right now. It's allergy season in Tampa, Florida. It's crazy. February all the way to March, maybe into April, the allergies are crazy. Right here I'm adding the color enhancement using the Sean Cuts Hair color enhancement card. Alright y'all, this is the finished product. I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all a full 360 view of the haircut. I hope y'all enjoyed this haircut tutorial. It is against the grain with these dope waves, a shadow taper, crispy lineup. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment. Team Gifted, let's get this road to 100K. Let's go.